So if you enjoy me and what I do, please consider visiting voidsignal.net. There you'll find goodies and ways to support me, your friendly, charismatic host and friend. There's a tip jar, links to merch, and the Void Signal Patreon that features exclusive episodes, events, and other special Void offerings. You can find that over at patreon.com/voidsignal, or just visit voidsignal.net to find all that shit. As always, thank you so much for your consideration, and I hope you are well. I am as well. We will talk again soon. I love you so much. Take care. Bye.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh my God, that's so annoying. You know what? It's so weird because I have this like hub on my computer and it like for some reason like I had my mouse plugged into it too, and because I had the mouse, like it wouldn't power up the headset. Like it's that shitty.
Oh, wow. All right. No worries. I mean, I knew you would figure it out. I'm like, she's got it.
Yeah, I was sweating there for a minute. I'm like, what is wrong with this?
Yeah, no worries. But you got it. Are you ready? Like, you are more than welcome to get a pee or a drink or whatever or
No, I'm good. I'm good. I got you a little bit late here. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, no worries. Not a problem at all. I have no plans. Like, this was the extent of it.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. No worries at all. And I always ask because I'm always like, oh, I'll pee before we go on, and then I'll be fine. And then the moment I sit down and like the person is ready, I'm like, ooh, wait, do I? Do I
Oh
actually
my
need to?
gosh.
I don't know. It's that self-doubt creeping in of like,
Is this what it so is this like a live? 'Cause again, I didn't tell anyone about I wasn't like, come
no,
join us.
no, this is not live.
Okay.
This is just pre-recorded,
Okay,
and I
cool.
cut out all my dumb bullshit. So I,
Oh,
so
do you get
I
like a
mean,
copy of it after?
no, I just like record this locally over on my side,
Okay.
of everything. Like I just use Discord for recording it primarily because it's also a way to like if I want to start doing like events, like we're gonna do like a movie night on the server where like people who are on here, patrons and people from the community and other band servers, they come on here and we'll get together and watch a movie. I'm going to have David Dutton from Gen Cab. He's
Oh
going to come and
yeah.
like we're all going to get in voice chat and like watch the same movie together at the same time and like talk about it and stuff.
Oh,
And like it's a fun way to like interact with like people who are really into the scene, like and
for
spend money
sure.
on it. Like the horticulture server and like some of these other bands, like their dedicated servers are like loaded with their direct fan base. Um,
That's so weird. I like have to start one of these. That'd be so much fun. I always wanted to like do like kind of what like Morris Black, like, Brian does, with the production stuff. And I don't know, like I even just think like interview or just talking about things or music stuff or whatever would be fun.
Yeah, for sure. You should. It is really fun and it's pretty easy to set up and then it kind of takes care of itself. Like this is not a
Uh,
thing I have to like go interact with or do things with often, unless I'm like recording like an interview or anything. But like I'll come on here and hang out. Like people are supportive and like want to talk about cool things and be, share things and hear about what your day was. Like it's great. Um,
I know, it's true. I never think I'm like, am I that important? I couldn't be.
that was my thought. I was like, why are these people here? But, it just keeps growing and people come on here and stay. And people are, people who joined the Void Signal Patreon were like, oh, can you add a patron role so that I can? And I'm like, sure. Yeah, we'll do that.
Oh,
Like,
wow. That's amazing. Like, yeah, you can help me. You can do, yeah, sure, you
yeah,
can donate or whatever you want to do. Yeah,
yeah.
that's amazing.
And people like volunteer to be like, oh,
Wow.
I'll be a moderator and I'll make sure things stay safe while you're not on. And I'm
Wha-
like, yeah, hell yeah. Like,
Oh my
it's
God.
great. Like it really is wonderful. It's awesome.
Wow, I
Um,
love it. Oh my God. Okay, you got me thinking. That's cool because like I don't go on here that often. I really
mm.
don't. And I like doing the AI stuff on here. It's cool.
Oh, Midjourney or
Yeah, that's really fun. And I've played around on there like way too long. I'm
oh,
like, no,
me
no, no,
too.
I have to stop.
Yeah. I was really tempted to buy the little subscription to it or whatever, but I was like, this is a thing I won't. I I will be entertained by
Oh, same.
endlessly. I will spend way too much time on this.
Yeah, like yeah, I was like, oh, this is so lame because I'm just doing this for free and I'm not
Mm,
paying in to like something that probably would be like, oh, good, I got another, we need money for this, but
yeah,
I was like, no, no.
yeah. Well, we are already recording. I already go ahead and start before people join because
Oh,
otherwise, because I smoke before I go on, like because it helps with like my anxiety, and that's why I encourage other people to like smoke or
you
drink or whatever.
anxiety? I don't think
You would
so.
never guess, right? With how embarrassing
Wow.
and overt I tend to be, but it just it helps me. So I like smoke before I go on, and so I have lost important interviews because I didn't hit record. So
Oh my
just
God,
to
I don't
be
even want to hear
yeah,
about that.
just to be extra thorough, we open it and we make sure it's recorded. I lost two interviews before I left Region, two phone interviews with Nightclub using
Oh
different phone apps.
no.
And I was so pissed. I was like, "What the fuck?" Like two different phone apps both fucked up and lost them. And I was like, "This is shit." So that's why
That's
I'm always like, "Yeah,
crazy.
please sign on to fucking Discord." I don't want to.
Oh my,
I don't want to have
right.
to.
'Cause it gives you that backup, right?
Right, and then I can use my fancy mic and shit. Like.
Oh yeah, I know. I've just got like a crappy like telemarketer headset on right now.
That's fine. You sound totally fine. Like yeah,
Oh,
it's more
just
than
a
enough. So
Logitech. I think it cost me like 20 bucks.
yeah, no worries. It is sufficient. I mean, I started out doing the show with just like I had like $150 like fancy gaming headset, and that's just what I started
Oh,
with, and then was like, all right, I'll buy like a $50 microphone, and here we are.
yeah.
So
I like the Yetis, like those are really cool. I love
mhm.
microphones. I'm such a nerd for microphones, but like I honestly I have this crappy headset because I was like, you know what, I should just have one and it doesn't have to be great. And it's not like I don't talk to people that often. So I was like, okay, like but if I had like ASMR
Mhm.
I love it and I'm one of those really like audiophile super nerds and I
Mhm.
love like hearing the 3DO and like other microphones that they use. I'm
Oh,
just like,
really?
"Oh my God, that sounds amazing." Yeah. They have ones that like look I don't know if you've ever listened to ASMR or if you're like creeped out by it, but they have these microphones with like two ears on the sides, so like they're binaural, so like when they're like touching the ears or like
Yeah.
whispering or whatever, it's like it's in that ear, you know?
It does fall into the sort of creepy spectrum for me. So thank you for thank you
Listen,
for
I told you I'm weird. I'm weird.
thank you for allowing me. No, I mean like I'm surrounded by weird people, so it's fine. Like my roommate,
No.
I walked in one day and he had an ASMR like YouTube video up that was like somebody getting like a back massage, and I was like, whoa,
Oh.
this is real strange. I'm gonna leave. Like it's it
Yeah.
is it's not
Oh.
entirely my thing. Brian Morris Black sent me a song on one of his playlists, and I was all like, oh, this song is so good. But then I realized that there's like subtle like mouth closeness whispering in the background, and I'm like, ooh, not into this. Like,
Oh my God, that's so
yeah.
funny. Yeah, I love that stuff. I'm just like, oh my
Mm,
God. Like, you have like stuff to like take out that stuff. Like, you have like
yeah.
production tools that take out those sounds, but like I'm okay with it. Like I'm like, all right.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's a little weird. Any strange mouth sounds or random artifacts that wind up in void signal are just because I'm unprofessional. That's for no
You have
other
cotton
reason.
you have cotton mouth, It's all
Yeah,
right.
that's right. Yeah, that's right. I mean, that's reality. Like, people are different from day to day. Like that. I keep it real. That's what I tell myself. So,
I love it. You gotta keep it real, you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
and you have your little thing that you do and your routines. And
Mhm.
like honestly, I feel like as I get older as well, like I mean, I'm an anxiety sufferer. I talk about it
Mhm.
with people. Like I'm so clear as day. I think once a year we have like mental health day and I always say like, I was diagnosed with panic disorder in my early 20s, like
Mhm.
and agoraphobia actually. And that was like a long road out of that. And I was in therapy for a while, and I was on, Prozac and everything, and it shaped me as a person. It did, it's made me who I am today. And but I feel like as you get older, I think a lot of people suffer from anxiety or trouble speaking, and I think sometimes you just gotta kind of do what you gotta do. Like if you find that that helps you, then like it's not hurting anything really.
Right. No, absolutely. And
Yeah.
I mean, whether it's pharmaceuticals or, alcohol's not the most healthy of choices. Like, if somebody like wants to, before they go to have like a social thing, like have a drink or something, like I'm not here to be somebody's dad. But like,
You're not? Oh no,
no,
I'm
I'm
in the wrong
not.
place.
Like,
Bye.
yeah, sorry, this is the wrong podcast. That's for Void Signal After Dark. But like, if somebody wants to like do something with their own body, like to help themselves and make themselves feel better, and they're doing it responsibly, which I have to assume they are, maybe, then
Yeah.
it's cool.
Yeah,
Like
like as
I'm
long as you're not
glad.
putting anyone in. Yeah.
Yeah, and like you're right. It is interesting. I have known a lot of people, myself included, who, when you live with anxiety for so long, to be able to take a pill or have some cognitive therapy to be aware of it, or
Mm.
whatever, and suddenly be able to like be free from it. It's like you're like, what is this been my life the whole time?
Oh my God,
It's
it's like
crazy.
crawling out of a dark pit. Like I could like talk all day about it. Like I honestly, like I just went through such a tough time in my early 20s. I was like, I had a great job. I had to leave it. Like I was in a band at the time. I couldn't perform anymore. Like I was too nervous to go on stage. Like I just everything about my personality that had
Mm,
existed before I was diagnosed, like, and I started to kind of go into it. It's like I was a completely different person, but I wasn't. But the one thing about me, and like I always tell people, like it doesn't define you. Like if you have mental illness or anxiety or stuff, whatever you deal with, it doesn't define who you are. Like you can crawl your way out of it if you
mm,
want to. Like I used to go to like kind of group therapy stuff where people were pretty content to be ill. Like they'd sit there
yes.
and they'd be happy to be stuck kind of there. They weren't like just dying to get out. But if you want to get out, and you have the will and you just want to, you'll
Mm,
be able to I think recapture some of your higher life, like if you put the work in.
yeah, agreed. And it's worth it. I mean, it can be. I mean, I'm not
Totally.
gonna try and tell people life is good. I mean, not everybody has a good life, and I have to I respect that. Like I can encourage people to try and change it. But it's yeah, I do agree with you, and talking to people helps, and that kind of circles back around to like the whole Discord server thing, which I guess I'm leaving in now. So, but it circles back around to that of like, here are people, I've got a list on my sidebar of like IMX and battle tapes and health and all of these and video games and whatever, but all of these people can come together over a thing they love together. And you see a lot of like support and a lot of like, oh, I've struggled with that too, or oh, I'm familiar with anxiety or mental illness or these fine whatever life struggles, right? And it's a great way for because not everybody has insurance, not everybody can go see a therapist,
Oh,
or group therapy like you mentioned. Like there's a lot of free stuff for like addiction and grief counseling and so on, and there's plenty of like free tools you can seek out. But in the interim, I'm not telling you to use Discord as a mental health tool, but or a substitute for therapy because it's full of people who are shitty, maybe, fallible people, right? But potentially people who would give you advice that's in your best interest and be supportive. So it's
yeah.
talking to people about what you're going through is a good thing, and I do think it should be more normalized than it is.
Oh my God, I agree so much, especially, and I always feel like there's this a weird thing that I always say, like, so I'm like, I always feel like I've always been kind of like an outcast type person because,
Mm,
like, I never really felt like I fit really anywhere. Even as a musician right now, like, I don't even really feel like I fit anywhere. Like, I kind of just do what
mm,
I want to do, like, as a musician, and I hope that people dig it, but I don't think it really fits anywhere, and that's kind of how I've always felt. Like, I just don't really have a genre as a person or a musician. I'm like, I'm I'm not like the jock genre. I'm not, I'm not the
Right.
whatever. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I just don't. But I do find that like when I get together, like if we do festivals or we play stuff where there's lots of musicians, I do feel a meaning of the weirdo minds. Like I just
Mm.
feel like, okay, these are the people that like if I was in high school or whatever, we would have been like hanging out and kind of understood each other a lot.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I love that so much. So there's really no gift greater than like meeting people that kind of like you feel like you can resonate with, and you're like, oh, okay, like this
Yeah.
my yeah. I always feel like a lone wolf
Mhm.
type person, so it makes me feel for a moment like, oh wow, like I can actually have a conversation with someone who gets like that I'm
Mm.
weirdly creative and like I am kind of antisocial because of it, and I don't, I don't have a lot of like social interactions in physical way because I'm kind of always busy doing creative stuff. And I know that's weird because you should want to surround yourself with people, but I guess sometimes I just feel like, I always feel like I got to get something done. Like I got to get down in the studio. I got to
Mm.
do something or create something. And it's just like always like that pestering just, and I feel like when I meet other creative people, they kind of are like, oh yeah, you're a basement dweller. I'm like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. No, I get it. That pull to like, oh, I want to go do something bigger than me, something outside of
Right.
myself that's like a manifestation of like my energy or my personality or my thoughts or
Yeah.
whatever. No, totally.
Yeah.
I do get that. And it is so nice to like meet like your tribe to kind of use a popular lingo from the kids these days. They say tribe. But like it is nice
Yeah.
like to be on the same wavelength as people, and like it's a good feeling. It was magic that I experienced for the first time at Mechanismus last year, when I first met
Oh,
you, and I was like,
yeah.
I mean, here we are, a year and some change
Oh, I
removed
think
from
it's
that,
more.
and I mean,
Yeah.
it was easy right away. Like both you and Tom were so like friendly and easy to talk to because everybody there was. It was
Oh,
just like
thank you.
it was so good. It was such a nice like experience to like fit in the vibe. And it's funny that you brought this up because actually one of the questions that I had written down to sort of pick your brain about, and one of the things I had intended to ask you was that as Mary Kattman, as a musical entity, the question I wrote down is, does she have a genre? Because in the run up to the show, I was listening to like, your
Yeah.
catalog, and it goes all over the place. And that's
Yeah.
wonderful. I am here for it. I love genre
Mm.
bending and experimenting and doing whatever. I think this is the industrial dark genre or whatever is like the place for it. And I wish more people did it. But like it did sort of prompt that like I mean, and I totally get it. I'm not a genre of a person. Like it's
Right. I
I'm
know.
I'm too weird to fit in just one. It's it's like
Yeah.
I'm gonna like fit into a couple of weird boxes maybe, but yeah, like what?
Yeah.
So I guess like sort of on that note, like what does Mary Catman going forward look like? Like what do you want to try next? And
I feel like I'm like
is there a thing you're gonna stick to if you find it, or
I love you. Yeah. There's nothing going to stick to you. Like, stick to it. Come on. It's weird because I feel like I'm a product of my time.
Mhm.
I'm in my late 30s. I grew up in the 90s. Like I loved like growing up, I was really into like, PJ Harvey and Tori Amos. And people say like sometimes they'll be like, "Oh, I can hear a little Tori in there." I can't. It's not like I'm intending for that. It's just
Sure.
something like I've been listening to her when I'm like I started in sixth grade listening to her, which is kind of like a little like
Yeah.
I don't think my mom was like, "What is she listening to? Why isn't it like pop?" But whatever. But yeah, like so I really loved like I don't know. I've also listened to quite a bit of hip hop like growing up too, and I always
Mhm.
loved like like Mos Def and the Fugees, and I
Mhm.
love Massive Attack, and I love like trip hop, and I love trap. Like I love trap percussion and trap drums, and
Hell yeah.
like I just do. And it's funny because like I feel like I've been making music a long time, and I think a lot longer than people even know. So I think sometimes people think I'm kind of new, but I've been around for a while. Like I've been doing this, and I find that like, the scene is, as much as I love it, it tends to be kind of like a DJ centric. Sometimes I feel like it's either like uber goth or it's like DJ centric, like
Right.
EBM.
Can I
And I
pump?
think,
I'm sorry. Can I pump the brakes real quick and ask, like,
yeah,
derail this whole conversation with a question?
yeah.
Um, you said I do love this scene. I don't know if I do. Do you? Do
I
you
like the
really?
people. I like the people, but I have to be honest, like I do feel like there is like a homogenization within it, like that
Mhm.
is it's sort of like clicky in a way, not the people, like I don't feel that kind of like like ostracizing anyone, but I feel
Sure.
like there's sort of like a preference listener wise, like for like listenership wise for a
Sure.
specific formula
Sure.
that I think almost kind of borders on like a pop formula, or like not even pop, but like the same basic kind of sound.
Mhm.
That It's sort of frustrating because like when I was writing music and stuff, well, I've been writing music, and I just feel like sometimes it's like I don't know what to expect from the reception for the people listening. Like I
Mhm.
want to do stuff that is DJable. I want to do stuff that can be like I call multi-purpose music. So
Sure.
like you can listen to it and play it in a club. I want as many ears as possible because that's what any musician wants, is just as many people to listen as possible.
Sure.
But sometimes I feel like, I was kind of doing what I liked. Like I really liked like trap. I really liked like sort of like sexy, like mid-tempo kind of like stuff like that. And that's kind of where I was really happy, but then wasn't really getting the listenership that I was hoping for, so I kind of changed it a little bit.
Mhm.
I do feel like there's also a preference, especially when it comes to females, for more of a harder edge sound, which I love that juxtaposition between like a very soft female voice and then like that hard.
Yeah.
I find that that gets a lot of good reception, and as much as I love what I do try to tailor it towards what was perceived, like what the reception that I got on the last thing I wrote, like what did people like?
Right.
It's there's a bit of a tailoring to that, and
Mhm.
I guess this is sort of I guess I'm running
I-
forward with this.
yeah,
Do
that's
I
fine.
like the scene? I do like the scene. I just feel like it does sometimes become a little like chokeholdy. Like,
Sure.
okay, we
I
have
mean,
to do this because
yeah.
this is what's working, you know?
Right. And I don't mean to interrupt you. I like it. Like, I don't want to, like, make it, it's not that I hate it. Like, just sometimes I do, maybe. Like, but it's definitely not a love. There are things I'd like to see changed about it. But I mean, who the fuck am I? Everybody thinks they know what's best for it.
I
So,
know.
but okay.
And I
You
don't
may
want to see like
continue with your original point, whatever it might have been. By
I
the-
yeah, again, I don't want to seem elitist because it
Sure.
sounds like I'm seeing myself above it, but sometimes I also like, really encourage people to like, for instance, I think something that a lot of the musicians get stuck in this scene is sort of like not maybe not meaning to it intentionally, but recreating a sound that's already been done.
Mhm.
That's a frustration for me, just for the artists. I'm like, oh, geez, like that's Susie Sue's done and gone. Let's move
Right.
forward. Like because there's such an originality in someone's voice.
Yeah.
Like you could catch someone for doing a crime because you can listen to their voice and say, oh no, that's not that person, that's that person. So there's like an
Right.
original um, you know, um, tone to someone's true singing voice. And I think sometimes I feel a little bummed out that I don't hear people trying to embrace that true identity of that voice. I mean, it's a real shame, but this is coming from someone who also had many, many years of voice lessons. And I was in theater. I was in,
Mhm.
I was in all sorts of. I did opera for a while. I mean, I've
Right.
studied a lot of different vocal techniques and skills, and sometimes I feel like, oh, it's such a shame. Like I don't hear
Right.
people, trying to find that like true, like kind of jewel of like their true like self, like in their
Right.
voice.
No,
And
I absolutely agree. I don't mean to interrupt you here, but like
yeah.
just as somebody who did not have that training, I am not trained to do any of that. I would like to, but
Yeah.
that's future down the road kind of things. But I have not had any such training. I have just been in love with music since I was
Hmm.
very young. So it's and again, story very similar to yours of like, oh, I like, Faith No More, and then I later in life I'm into Nine Inch Nails, and then I'm into Massive Attack and Uncle, and all, very similar sort of a journey. Um, excuse me, but it's just a thing I've been in love with and paying attention to for a long time. So I often describe, hearing musicians and artists for the first time as like, sometimes I'll be like, oh, I'm excited for this artist's next release or next record because I feel like if they would let go of who they want to sound like, then and they start using like their own voice and trying to sound like themselves, I feel like
Hmm.
that will be a much stronger release and a much more moving and powerful piece of art
Yeah,
overall.
totally.
So
Yeah.
I do absolutely agree with you about this, even as somebody who is not an auteur of the craft, I guess.
Mm. I think it's like it's healthy to peek outside the genre, and I hope people like a lot of people talk about something called a goth card, which really drives me insane
Yeah.
because I feel like you have to, as a musician, you have to peek outside. You have to see because like I took my daughter to see Beetlejuice on Broadway or whatever, and it was incredible. Like the lighting was just pinpoint. It was the best lighting I've ever seen. The mix of the music was the best I've ever heard, and I mean literally in years. And also, it's just, and musicals aren't really my thing. Like, I'm not really a musical person. But I knew my daughter would like it, so we went. But it was important for me to see that lighting craft and the vocal craft and see where people are at because sometimes you settle sort of at this certain level of achievement. And I feel
Mm.
like for me personally, I'm always trying to best myself. Like I always feel like I'm in kind of in a race with myself. It has nothing to do with anyone outside of me, but that's the thing that gets me down in the basement all the time. Is just like I want to do better than I did before.
Mhm.
And it's a healthy attitude to have. I think it's important to look outside yourself and be like, shit, that person can sing. Like I want to get a little better at that.
For
Or
sure.
like no matter what you're doing, or like you're a lighting person and you're like, shit, I went to a Broadway show and I don't even like
Yeah.
Broadway, right? But I can't believe how good that lighting craft was. It's like I want to
Right.
get better. And I
Mhm.
just kind of hope people are striving a little bit and
I think.
and want to yeah.
Sorry, again, I don't mean to interrupt, but just like I do think it's like people have to be open to it because when you see a thing that's like, or you experience a thing that's like impressive and like, has the potential to move you, or you see somebody doing something impressive or amazing, I think there's a tendency towards envy and jealousy. I think that's bred probably just as a byproduct of our society. That's opening a whole bigger can of worms. But, I think the tendency in humans, especially if you are a creative person, is to maybe compare and be like, oh, this person's doing this thing that's so much cooler than what I should be doing. I should either not do it or they have that feeling of like, well, fuck them, and like, or or
Yeah.
they're open enough to be like, oh wow, that's really fucking cool, I would love to do something like that and get to that, aspire
Yeah.
to that same sort of technical skill. I think people have to be open to that, and I don't know that many people are.
That's a really good point. I don't really think about that. It's really hard to pat someone on the back that's maybe in the same line of work you are, who's doing
Mm,
better, or has more success. It's really hard to kind of fuel their fire anymore because you might feel like, oh shit, like, like they're burning brighter than me. Like I don't want, like, I'm not going to add to that. Like, screw them. You know what I mean?
right.
I get it. There's so many times, but I always say to myself, like, like for me, like my influences, like when I think of like the best of the best in any scene, I think of people like the best of the best. Like I just said, like I said, PJ Harvey, Tori Amos, like
Hmm.
York. Like I think about that level of skill and I think I want to, whatever I'm doing,
Hmm.
I look at that and I go, I want to get like that. Like that's how and not only like it's not really about skill more than it is like I want to know myself as an artist as well as they know because I can tell when I listen to PJ Harvey or Tori Amos or there's tons of different artists you can think come up
Sure.
with like but you think about that and you're like shit that person that's the sound of an actualized person that's the sound of someone who knows who's a true like reflection of who they are like in their work and I feel like I don't know. I just
You feel like you're not at that point?
I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, I've taken on a lot of hats over the years. Like I
Mhm.
used to be mainly just a vocalist and a collaborator.
Sure.
And I've worked with a lot of people that I admire. I would never think in a million years that I would ever work with like Tom or Mark from Mesh. I'm like, what? Like these are the people I used to listen to. Like I also did something with um the Project Renard, which is the Wolfsheim offshoot.
Mhm.
That will come out probably next year, I imagine. But I work with these people, and I'm just like, holy shit! Like these people have so much. Um, they've worked so long and so hard as well, and I try to learn from like those experiences. Like, how do they work? What's their flow? Like, what does it
Mhm.
look like? I think it's so important to kind of like grasp it because for me, it's like like I said before, I started as a collaborator.
Mhm.
But now I've taken on, like orchestrating entire songs myself. And that's like makes me feel like I'm crawling again. Like it makes me feel like
Right.
but I sort of love that because like I'm always a person that's like, okay, like I want to just take all the dreams that I have in this lifetime and try to actualize them as best as I can. But it also makes you feel kind of small, like when you're just starting and you're like, "Ooh, my production isn't as tight. It's not as clean as that person." Like I can hear, how do they make their bass sound like that? Like how do they make their, kick sound like that? Like,
Right.
that's not something that I shy away from because like I really want to continue to improve, but it also puts me back a little bit, like because I can't just focus on like being in who I am at that time. Like I have to also focus on like, okay, what plugins am I using? And, like how is my EQ on that thing? And like there's a lot of technical thoughts. So I think sometimes that sort of takes away from just kind of being peaceful in that moment of like so when I sing, that's something I've been doing my entire life. I feel really at home there. There's not like a
Mhm.
lot of insecurity there, but there's definitely some insecurity when it comes to like, I'm going to put together a song for the first time and and I'm just learning how to make my transitions tight or make my drum fills tight or figure out how I'm gonna build the mood of this and it's like I'm sitting in front of a DAW by myself. There's no one sitting next to me and I have no idea if I'm putting things in right or tapping them in right and I if I'm picking synth sounds that are correct and there's just so many different thoughts when it comes into writing a song and that's like really discovering yourself again. So I suppose um I don't know. Like I feel like when I write all my own stuff, it's harder to just focus on like that one part, that one piece.
Sure. No, that makes sense.
Mm.
Um, well, in light of that, so I think the original question was, if I'm, if I'm remembering, was like, so once, if I'm just surprised that you kind of don't feel that way about your own
Yeah.
body of work right now, just because, I mean, like, my perception of you and your work is very like distinctive of like your,
Really?
yes, like you
Oh shit.
definitely have like sort of a vocal fingerprint that I can pick up on things. I mean, like
Oh,
I
I
was
love that.
really into a Coma Duster song, Monolith, I think is the name.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I had no idea. Like I'd never heard Helix or whatever. And then when I was looking up bands for Mechanismus last year, I was like Helix, and I'm like, I know this voice. And I was like, what is this from? What? And then I had to go like track it down. And I'm like, oh fuck,
Oh
these,
yeah.
okay, all right, I get it. It makes
Yes.
sense. So I had that moment. So I mean,
Oh,
for
I'm so
whatever that's
happy.
worth, it's
No, that means so like I always say to myself because like I used to always say to myself like when I was in my like I'm older now and I started this journey like god damn like a long time ago but I looked at myself and I'm like in the mirror one day and I was like listen girl you're not going to get any better than you are right now. So just be like have some confidence, reach out to people, start asking if you want to do if some people want to work with you or collaborate with you. I had a good body
mm,
of work to showcase to people and my hope was that if I worked with enough people, that people would start recognizing, like, oh, there's her voice. There it is again. Oh, she's on this. She's on this.
mm,
But it didn't really work that way. Like, I've worked with so many people, that I would be like, holy shit, I've worked with all these people that I'm super like stoked to have worked with. But I feel like people don't make the connection, like, oh shit, like, she's worked on these things, but she's also her own entity and she's in Helix and she does all this other stuff. So I am really, really excited that you listened to Monolith and you thought, okay, like that's the girl.
yeah,
Because I'm like,
oh yeah.
that's the point.
Oh yeah, it left such an impression. Monolith did. I
Oh
was
yeah.
really like, okay, this is a vocalist worth paying attention to. Um,
Oh yeah, it's so cool to work with Real too. Like he's so much
mm,
fun to work with because we're both like equally as like like we're both like ADD when we're working on music. So we'll basically, like he'll be like, "Can you send me this? Can you send me you singing it like this?" And I'll be like,
mm,
"Yes." And then I'll sing it like that, and then I'll transfer it over to him,
yeah.
and he'll put it in. He'll be like, "Can you do this harmony too?" And I was like, "Yes." And then we just kind of work like that. Like it's really fun and. There's a lot of energy back and forth, and I absolutely cannot wrap my mind around how Real does his like his percussive elements are so
Yeah.
like intricate and weird time signatures and stuff and I go
Mm.
oh it's just he's a brilliant artist, brilliant.
Yeah, I'm a fan. Absolutely agree. Really impressive performance. Um,
Mm.
okay, so I guess the other thing I wanted to ask you and touch upon, because we're kind of on the topic a little bit. So when it comes to Helix,
Mm.
not what is the future of that sound like? Do you think that because Mary Kattman, who the fuck knows? It can be whatever. Like it's gonna be
It's gonna be a lot of swallow in the
okay.
future.
Okay, because
I'm
I
sticking
was
with that bass.
okay because I was really that single along with what is the fucking other one? I'm sorry, fever
Oh,
something.
the fever shakes.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, ooh, this edgy EDM is really like, or whatever it is. I don't fucking know.
I no, you don't even need to give
I
it.
just
Don't even
use
give it a name.
I just use words. But whatever it is, I was so into it. I was like, this is a good look.
Cool.
Like, this is what I want to hear more of. Like this edgy sort
Nice.
of
Yeah.
like, yeah, yeah, really
I
into
got a
that.
lot of
It's a good look.
yeah. Oh, thank you. I like it too, and I think I got a lot of like
Mm,
you just said. I got a lot of good feedback, and you know, I, I I listened to that and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go forward. And I really love like I love bassy kind of like I kind of like dig like just I almost want to just do songs with like just crazy bass lines with some like nice drums because it's like
hmm
I love that simplistic vibe with the nice clean vocal and you got that kind of raw bass. But these ones aren't the next ones putting out. They're not like that. They're they're dense, But
hmm
like after that, I kind of want to I want to make it even more minimal. Like I think minimal is just to me that is like when you can hear the little changes in the little details like little hi-hats that change or like
Yeah.
little whatever like you don't have too much that your ear has to focus on. I just love the art of that. I think that's brilliance to me, like is just being able to take away in your mix like instead of add. Like you can add forever and ever and add all these different synth parts, but I think the best part is when someone puts out a really clean like bass song or something that really is. I love it.
Yes. Absolutely agree. And while you were while you were talking, I was like, "Ooh, shit! Let me not forget this." And I'm gonna send it to you right now, and I will mention it
Okay.
aloud just so other people can hear it as well. It is a song that is, I don't know if it perfectly exemplifies kind of what you're talking about, but just on the note of things that are can be simple with just some slight variation to make it interesting. I'm so yeah, whenever you get a chance to listen to that, it's the track is F sharp by
Oh,
or
cool.
F pound sign hashtag if you like.
Yeah.
But it's by Prototype Raptor and it's a 5 minute 25-second song, which sometimes is a big ask. Right? Like, sometimes that's too long for a fucking song. Like, sorry, but it is. Like,
I'm all about it. No, it's
but
fine if it's good.
if it's good, right? Exactly. It can be, but for this to be an instrumental piece to be that long, it is really interesting from start to finish, and I've like absolutely fallen in love with it. I've played it a billion times,
Oh
um,
my God, I'm so excited. Thank
but
you.
it's it felt to me like it was the first thing that popped in my mind when you were talking about like clean and being able to
Yes.
hear transitions and hear subtleties and variation. And like, I don't know, maybe it's because I have severe ADD and I'm just like easily entertained and distracted, but like those little nuances go a long way for
Oh
keeping
yeah.
keeping a listener engaged, I feel like.
Oh. That's it. When you write a song, every 8 bars, you want to introduce something or take something out. If you're right, anybody who's writing music that's listening to this,
Yeah.
that's the key to keeping people interested, and also having some nice transitions from any major changes you're having, even if it's like just like a little riser and a downshifter and all that stuff, and then or a nice drum fill. But yeah, yeah, I think I'm 100% on board with you, Brian. I think that little changes in percussion and all that stuff, that's the balls right now. I love that stuff.
For sure. It
Um,
is the balls, as
it's the balls.
as they say.
Um, unless you don't like balls, and it's just not that. It's not
Right,
that
and then it's
then.
not that. I mean, I'm not crazy about them, honestly, if we're
No,
being honest.
no. All right. Then it's the vag then. All
Yeah,
right.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it can be whatever body part you wish, really.
You heard it
Dealer's
here.
choice. Yeah. um. All right.
Right,
Well,
so your question was, what is happening with Helix?
yes.
Helix is very much alive and well. You see,
Okay.
Tom and I have kind of gone through a period of life changes. We are now in a very nice house,
Mm,
and we have much more bills than we did before, but we have a very nice life. It's very, very peaceful and wonderful here. But also, Tom had to go back to work full time during the day, and I am also working during the day.
mhm,
So Helix did not come together as fast as we wanted to. We meant to have an EP, another EP out by now, but we haven't. We have one coming out, and I think we're gonna try for November or December. I know
mhm.
December is like a weird month to release music, but we don't care. We're doing it.
Why,
Um,
can I interject and ask why?
yes. Why? Oh, why is December?
Why? Yeah. Why is November, December a weird time?
Not November, December for sure. I don't know.
Okay.
Tom tells me this. Like, I guess, like, apparently, no, like, record labels. I mean, we have little ones, so they probably do release in December, but for the most part, like, albums don't come out in December. And I think it's because people are so busy, like, holiday shopping and preparing for like things. They're just not really focused on like maybe you know, I don't know, like maybe they're not listening to like thinking about, oh, well, there's that new so and so album coming out because I'm thinking like mom and dad are coming down for Christmas and
Oh,
I got
I
to get the
see.
guest room ready or whatever. I think there's kind of like that holiday like rush like of people
Gotcha.
just being kind of distracted. So
Sure. I
yeah,
mean, I would assume like,
yeah.
oh, I need a fucking break from Christmas music. Let me listen to whatever record just came out. Anything. Okay.
All you need is Mariah Carey. That's it.
Oh, that is so true. Oh man, my favorite.
I know someone like posted this meme the other day and it's like Mariah Carey's defrosting. And I'm like, and it was like her in the Santa outfit. I'm like, no,
Yeah,
I hate Christmas music so much.
me too.
That's what we need. We need a really dope bass Christmas album. Some
That
bells
isn't.
in there.
That's
I
not
don't
going to
know.
happen. You are talented and lovely. I have all the faith in your capabilities. That's not a thing that's going to happen and be good.
No, it's not. It's not
Nobody's
gonna.
no.
I know.
Nobody no.
Oh, no. There's no topic of Christmas that isn't kind of corny, so it's
Yeah.
like you can't really like make it cool.
Right. And who wants to hear a song about the fucking holidays? That sounds lame.
No, but I know because I think most of us in this community probably don't love our families as much. I mean, we love them,
I
but we're the
mean,
black sheep. We
right,
are the black sheep of the world, okay?
right. They're loved as
So,
much as they can be for people we didn't choose.
right, we're mom's disappointment. Let's
Right.
not pretend we're not. We're a little
Yeah.
bit of that,
Yeah. That's right.
But that's the way it is.
So Helix will come back to life in
Felix
the
is
near future.
Helix is resurrecting. We are doing Absolution Festival in Florida, and I think we're on Saturday, October 7th, 8th, I think. I don't remember. It's like 8th or 7th. And we're going to be an Absolution Festival down there in Florida, which I am really excited to see what the weather's like down there because right now it's getting cold here, which I love.
Mm.
So I'm not sure. Oh, we're on the 7th, and then we're playing Elysium in Texas on the 13th, which is a Friday. So if you're in Texas or if you're in Florida, come out and see us. Like support us, like come out and because a lot of you guys haven't seen Helix before, and I think you need to see it because it's kind of like again, it is like a kind of a it is a I would say, oh gosh, brain dump of both Tom and I's true love for things that aren't necessarily accepted in this scene. Like we both have this sort of like a fascination with like burial and Boards of Canada, and we have a fascination with like old school 80s and 90s technotronic.
Uh-huh.
Like we have a place in our hearts for these things, and so Helix is sort of like the brain dump of all of that. And no, it doesn't fit into Assemblage 23 sound, and no, it doesn't fit into Mary Kattman songs, but it's kind of like a weird, like I don't know, like it's just a weird, like sort of like, hey, you want to do this? Yeah, let's do it. Like, like we know people don't really,
You're
we
not
don't know
really
if people
selling
are gonna like it or not.
it. Like, if we're
Yeah.
being real, you're not really selling it. You're you're like, yeah, you come check out our really personal bullshit that,
Yes.
but it is great. Like for anybody
It's fun.
listening who is interested, it is wonderful. It is
It's
a
fun.
fantastic blend of two talents
I have a
that
fun time up there. I
that
smile
delivers.
a lot.
Yes.
Yes, I
It's a
smile a
blast.
lot. I dance a lot. And you know what? I
Mm.
noticed that a lot of these musicians, you're not smiling up there.
Yeah. Look happy.
Yes, let's
I
do it because I love it. I'm living when I'm up there, and I hope
Yes.
everybody sees it.
Uh, I do, and you
Oh,
certainly show
thank
it.
you.
But that is the
Thank
thing
you.
about the scene that does. I'm just gonna throw this out there real quick, a little bitch fest thing. Um, I don't know. People paid to see you. Be fucking nice to them. Like pretend you're
Oh.
happy to be there too, maybe. Because when you act like you're fucking pissed off about something, you know what? Maybe that's the time I'm gonna go smoke, and I have better things to do than check out whatever bullshit you're about to do. Anyway, that's
Mm.
sorry. That is, I just had to say it because it was fresh on my mind.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
Amazing.
just yeah. I just for anyone listening, whatever. I'm always humble about whoever, any cheer we get, any people sitting and standing and watching or whatever. It's an honor to perform for you, and it's what it's about. It's the bread and butter, the applause, the attention and the time that, people's time is truly expensive. And, it really is. It's the most expensive thing in the world is getting someone to focus for, 3 minutes or whatever, however long your song is.
Yeah. Exactly.
You
And
know.
definitely don't shoot yourself in the foot by immediately coming out and sounding pissed off. Like, not a good look.
Oh God.
Doesn't win
Oh
people
God.
over.
I gotta hear this. I'll have to hear this story after the pod.
Yeah, after we stop recording, I'll
Yeah.
disclose that
Oh
one.
God. Yeah.
But I don't want to keep you all night. So the other question that I did want to get to, just that I
Yeah.
always ask, is what's something that you're enjoying right now? And your answer can be anything. And while you think it over,
My God. Okay.
I'll give my answer. Because I always do. I don't know why. Like, because it's my show, I guess. Like, I don't know.
Oh yeah. You can do whatever you want.
Right. That's what I tell myself, Mary. And
I know. I think we're gonna need like 3 podcasts to do all the questions, Brian, because we
yeah.
just I chat too long.
No, it's totally fine. That's the point of this thing is that I just do whatever. But the thing I'm enjoying the most right now is honestly is working on Void Signal again. Like I recorded my first artist interview last night. I had recorded. I'm gonna do this series for the Patreon. That's the Strangers series, where I just interview people that I don't really know that well, but maybe they follow the podcast. Maybe they're on my Discord server. Maybe
Hmm.
they're a model or an actress or somebody's spouse, or they're just an interesting person that sort of crossed my path of like they're doing an interesting thing, and they tell an interesting story maybe. So it's just sort of set up to do that. So
Love it.
I've recorded two of those that are going to go up next month, and they were a blast. Like I got such thoughtful questions from these people.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's coming soon. Recorded those, but last night was like my first like sitting down recording interview. And I recorded with Byron and Chris from Dracula Party. They played Mechanismus last year. Um,
Yes, I think Tom did a remix for them.
yeah, I believe so. That sounds right. But it was such a blast. It was such a good time, and it like
Mm.
people laughed, and there was good conversation, and like it felt good to be doing it again. I feel like my recent sort of medical stuff has really,
Yes.
having a lot of time to just lay around and be shitty and think about things has really sort of made me go like, oh wait, this is a thing I love.
Yeah.
I should maybe, maybe I should work
Yeah.
on that. So. Uh,
Right. Life is short, right? Like you realize when you don't feel well, you're like, shit, like this body could fail me at some point and I have stuff to do, you know?
yeah, I got shit I want to see and do, and things I want to say. So, yeah, absolutely. So that's the thing that's like really like making me super stoked right now. It's just like being able to work on this again and being able to like have great guests like yourself and
Oh, thank you.
get people together to play trivia and like do good shit. Like I love it. I do love it. So
I'm glad you're back at it. I'm glad you
thank
asked
you.
me. It's really nice. It's nice to talk to you. Like I feel really this
Mm.
is great. I feel like it was very smooth and yeah, we made a lot of I made a lot of detours. I don't know if I
Oh,
answered any of the
totally.
questions, but
Mostly, probably. I
yeah.
mean, it's totally fine. I mean, that's the whole thing. And thank you for saying that. I do appreciate it. Like, I try to
Yeah.
make people comfortable, and I don't know if this is going to be my thing. I'm going to do. I should try and take it more seriously, and um, put more effort into it, and really try and deliver it, as best I can.
Yeah. Oh,
So
I
yeah.
love it. I think it's great.
Well, thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Oh, thank you. All
And
right.
I'm
So
glad you're feeling better too, by the way. I just want to say.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. It's wonderful to not be in such agony as I was.
Uh,
But what is the thing that you're enjoying right now?
oh my God. My life is so weird. Like right now, like obviously I'm like writing music and stuff, but sometimes like, that becomes a chore because like I said before,
Sure.
like it's like one of those things that's like always like a monkey on your back. You're like, I gotta write music, gotta write music.
Yeah.
So that's not the thing right now. The thing I'm enjoying is I got a Nintendo Switch
Yeah.
and I'm finished like I'm not yet. I love the Zelda series, okay?
Uh-huh.
So I'm a huge gamer. I love Zelda. I love Legend of Zelda. I've played every Legend of Zelda ever made. I love
Okay.
it. I've played it from Nintendo up. Like I just it's my thing. So having I'm playing Breath of the Wild right now. I haven't done Tears of the Kingdom and I'm glad I'm about to embark on that, but I got the DLC for Breath of the Wild. I've been playing that. I love it. I'm a completionist. Like I'm almost like one of those people that needs to do everything in the game before I put it down because
Okay.
I feel like I've abandoned it somehow.
Yeah.
So I'm absolutely loving that.
Mhm.
I've also been watching a show called Nathan for You, which I've neglected, but it's
Mhm.
really funny. I like weird, funny, like comedies that are awkward. So Tom and I have actually been watching Nathan for You. It's really great. If anyone likes like weird comedy, check it out. It's really, really funny. It's just kind of like episode based. I'm trying to think what else I'm doing. I don't know. I guess that's what I'm enjoying right now. I'm enjoying that Halloween is on its way, like, and also
Yeah.
like the leaves are really beautiful right now. Like where I live on the
Mhm.
East Coast, like in Boston area, and it's just, really beautiful. Like we got the leaves coming, they're changing, like apples, which are my favorite. like ever fruit ever like is they're happening and we're gonna go apple picking and it's wonderful and I just love those kind of moments like in the fall when like right
Mm.
the winter and the dreariness
Sure.
hasn't yet set in but
Yeah.
just those moments and like as I get older I really do like take moments like to just like go outside and take a big deep breath and just breathe the air and just appreciate the seasons coming in and out because as you get older, you're like, shit, like, I don't know, you just start to like, you start to see things just a little bit different, about,
For
you
sure.
just try to take those like kind of, little things that wouldn't notice when you were kind of younger and like, and you don't think about it, but
I
I
mean,
get kind of nostalgic.
I absolutely agree with you. Just the way you talk, you would think that you were like 78. Like you're just like,
I
well, I'm
am.
getting older. My bones aren't what they used to be. I mean, fucking my bones aren't what they used to be either. But like you, I mean, you do are. I mean, you are. Anyway, you're a young person. Like there's plenty of time
Wow,
where,
thank
yeah.
you. Thank you.
I wasn't sure if you were aware or not, but
Listen, I have a child, so like, when I see her bumping around, I'm just like, damn, I'm so old. I can't do any of that. Like, I'm
right,
like,
yeah,
I'm so tired. So like I do see it.
yeah.
And when I'm with her, I'm like, oh God. So maybe that's where the
No,
point of feeling old comes in, but
no, I get
yeah.
that. I turned 41 in January, and
Oh,
I'm looking in the mirror a lot, and I'm like, oh, look at all these gray hairs and shit,
wait
and
a minute. So do you feel old or what?
I don't, but I think that's because I'm immature. So you know, so it's easy to just forget because I'm still the same person that I'm not the same person. I've changed a lot, but like I still am that sort of. There is a part of me that is still forever that like sort of youthful 16-year-old
Yeah.
that like liked making people laugh and like being a fucking goof and shit. So,
Oh, I love that. Yeah, you don't grow out of that stuff though. I
no,
mean, I really don't. Like, I mean, I always like, cause like my daughter is like, mom, and I'm like, mom. I'm like, shit, I'm a mom, and
yeah,
like, I'm the adult, like I'm the parent. I'm the one that's like, they're like, the parents know the right thing, and I'm like, I do. I
right.
don't know.
Yeah,
You
the
know,
only thing that's changed is now I can drive and make decisions for myself, which aren't always good. Those aren't always good
exactly,
things.
exactly, exactly. But I do. It does make me feel old sometimes. But
Mhm.
no, like I'm just yeah, I'm just enjoying that. I love Halloween. It's like my
For
favorite. Now all
sure.
of a sudden I get to go out trick or treating again,
And where
right?
I get to wear my best clothes, for sure.
Yes, there you
Yeah, that
go. I mean,
fall,
you go
the
out.
fall
Yeah.
fashion is where it's at.
Oh, right. I know, right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I get to hide them. You know, you just kind of get to get cozy under
Right.
your sweatshirt and your hoodie or
That's
whatever.
right.
That's the best thing
Yep.
ever. Like when
It's
you're in your
hoodie
hoodie.
time. Yep. That's
Mm-hmm.
right.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, speaking of hoodies,
Yeah.
you guys gotta start making hood. I'm just saying in general to the
Okay.
population listening, if you make merch, make hoodies that go over the head. Don't make the zip up ones. We've got enough of those. It's time for you to start making the ones that we can wear that don't have the zip.
Okay. As a
Okay?
person, I will just add, as a person who hates pullover hoodies,
Stop
if you
it!
if you listen to Mary, all right, I'll be so disappointed. She doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. She's zip
What
up
are you
hoodies are life. I don't know. I don't know how you could get to this place.
doing? You don't like a pullover, like a nice
I
big.
No, definitely not.
Oh my
It's zip
God.
up or nothing.
Listen, I have nothing more to say to you, Brian. You'll
Yeah,
never
we're
see me
done.
again.
This interview's fucking over.
You're done. Also, I want another thing I want from all you artists out there. I want like a different color than black. Get me a red hoodie. A
I
red hoodie. I love red.
I will agree here. I am a proponent of using not fucking black all the time. I'm very like high contrast with like black is fine, but like maybe not
Ooh.
fucking red. Like, can we not? Can we move
That's,
away from black and red merch for just a little while?
oh, I
Like,
love
I
red.
mean, I
Oh,
do too, and I love black and red merch, but I've got enough of it. I'd like some
you have red
options.
merch? I don't have
Well,
any red.
Really? Like, oh, like I feel
No.
like a lot of people in the scene do black and red merch.
Shit.
Maybe I'm talking out of
Probably
my fucking ass then. I don't know.
Ryan,
But I
you and
have a
I are
lot of
on me.
shirts with
We're never
fucking.
making merch together. We're never making
Yeah,
merch
no,
together.
you have no idea what you're talking about. You're out of touch with your customer base, Mary. You're fucking trying to sell people red pullover hoodies. Nobody wants that.
Yeah, I don't know about it. Whatever. People don't like I don't know what people even like these days. I'm gonna do a vinyl someday and I hope everyone buys it because I love vinyl. I want to do a vinyl. I think that's where it's at right now.
I think vinyls are cool. Don't do tapes. I I
Oh, I'm
I
never
think
doing a tape.
like tapes look rad, and but
Yes.
I talk myself out of it after 20 seconds of being like, nope, not ever gonna do a thing with this other than just sit it on a fucking shelf. So no thanks. I have enough plastic things that just sit on shelves.
I have tapes from artists that like when you buy their stuff on Bandcamp, they make you buy the tape, which I'm just like, oh, like I want it kind of because I want to see what it looks like, but then once I get it, I'm like, what am I doing with this?
Yeah,
I don't
exactly. It's
have.
like, what am I fucking supposed to do with this? I'm not gonna go buy a thing to play it in. I am
No, they
certainly not.
don't make they don't make tape decks anymore. They don't make
No.
them.
What
They
like? Am
will.
I supposed to go like? Am I supposed to troll fucking flea markets so I can be able to play tape? Like, what? I got better things to do.
And like tape recordings sound like so low end. Like there's no high. Well, it's not a good sound.
No,
It's not that great of quality.
no,
It's really not. It's
agreed.
not worth it.
I can justify
Not
it.
worth
I could
it.
justify a CD. I could justify a vinyl, but I can't. I can't justify a
Yeah.
tape. No.
I like the vinyls. They're nice and slim, so you can like put them up and you can fit many of them on a shelf and you don't feel
Yeah.
like they're taking up space.
And you get the artwork all big, so if you frame it, it
Sick.
looks good. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Plenty of room
Oh
for
yeah.
autographs and shit. Yeah, vinyls are functional. God damn it. Anyway,
Yes, vinyls are cool. A colorful vinyl on top of that, like
yes.
definitely.
Yeah, go the
It's
extra
amazing.
mile. Spring for like the fancy vinyl. May not like make it cool. I will
Here's my
just
wish list. More
yeah.
vinyls, red pullover hoodies. All of you out there, I better get them.
The
That's
next
it.
time I have you on, we'll just talk about merch ideas and things other people should do, so that we'll be happy about it.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I don't even know what else I would want. Like I don't like Tom just made this mug, coffee mug thing. I'm like, I don't know. I said you should make a A23 like back brace so when people go
Mm.
to your shows and like they're like, all right, he's coming out again, another encore. All right, give me the A23 back brace. I'm gonna need one of those.
Wow, that
My back's
is
killing me.
yeah. No,
Listen,
I would buy
Brian, when you
one.
go to
I could use
show,
one.
yeah, see, when you go
Yeah,
to shows, are you tired at the end?
yeah. Fuck yeah, I am.
See,
I could.
see.
I went to my first show just the other night, just this week. I went to see oh, I don't want to forget the first band's name because they were amazing. Something
And
fuck.
think,
No, I got nothing. Anyway, but it was Twin Temple and Behemoth, and I was like, it was amazing. But why was I bringing this up? Fuck.
your back was hurting you
Yes,
because
because
it
my
could have
back
been a
was
little
hurting.
bit
Yes,
shorter.
thank
It
you. Because
should
I
have
was
been
like,
shorter.
because I was like, man, I have been, this is a long
Yes.
time of standing here.
Yeah,
But I mean,
see?
I'm also recovering from spine surgery, so I mean that, and
Oh
I'm
shit,
old,
that
so,
yes.
that too. I'm not as young as I used to be,
Right.
as Mary keeps telling me. Like
No, you're not as young as you
no,
listen, I'm almost the same age as you. We're a little bit apart, that's it. But I'm
uh,
coming there
yeah,
and I'm feeling it. And
yeah,
yes, I want my back brace and that's it.
yeah. I could do a
I
back
want my
brace.
orthopedics. I want my
Right.
goth
Hey,
orthopedic.
there you go. The Helix knee braces are like, there you fucking go. That like do that,
Yes,
but that
yes.
does bring me to the point. Like, do merch that other people aren't fucking doing. Like,
I
the thing that was
know.
selling like hotcakes at the fucking Behemoth show were the
Oh,
tote bags because
oh
you can put
shit.
your fucking shit in it after you buy it, dude. It's $20 and it's like, oh, let me just put my fucking stuff I just bought in a
Yes.
bag I can hold.
Yes. You know who does good merch is Mark from Mesh. Like he's pretty smart about that.
Mhm.
You know what he did one time? He did thumb drives, which I thought was so smart.
Oh yeah,
You've probably seen that before. It's been done now. But he was like one of the first people to do that. I was like, shit, it had the album on the thumb drive. I think it had stems on the thumb drive too, so people could like remix
oh
if they
shit,
wanted to. It was good. It was a good idea. Like, and then he did tote bags. He just did tote bags for Black Car Burning's release there, his little side project.
yeah,
I love it. I love toting things around, so of
yeah.
course I love that. I didn't get one though, Mark. I didn't get a free one, even though I was on that thing.
Isn't it so shitty when your friends in the industry don't give you free things?
Oh yeah, I mean, if I'm on your stuff, you better be giving me a free tote bag. That's
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
want,
if somebody
yeah,
has you on your fucking on their podcast, I mean,
I
you
want
should.
a, that's it. I want the void signal
Oh,
tote
see, here
bag
we go.
and
You're
red
immediately like, oh,
pullover.
send me void signal shit. You're right. Like, go ahead, get it over here. Here's my address.
Yeah, it's great. Because I mean, I'm wearing it. If you're sending it, I'm wearing it. That's it.
Oh, see, okay, so now that is a thing I might take you up on because
Are you are gonna? You
I
really
do
have
need
one? You
to
have one?
like if I buy somebody a shirt, I bought shirts for other people who've been on the show, and I always give it to them, and I'm like, yeah, here you go, enjoy, and then I'm like, they'll send me pictures of
Oh,
themselves in it.
oh, I'll
They
do it. Yeah, I'll
fucking
take a
do
picture of
not.
it.
They
I'll do
don't.
it. I do it every time. Anytime someone sends me a CD, anytime anyone sends me anything,
Oh
I will
shit.
do so. Even this,
Okay.
even the Static magazine that Rex Arcana just put out on all his little staff there, I did a video for him because I think it's so important. When someone sends you something, you better do something back
Yeah,
because
agree.
it's only polite, right?
And or at least reshare things. Like a
You
post,
gotta
share things.
hype it
Clicking
up.
buttons is free. Like,
I
yeah,
do it. I hype it up. I really
agree
do.
for
Like, because
sure.
I just think
Okay.
it's important. We gotta support each other, right?
Agree. And I like where your head's at, especially now that especially now that I know that you're just giving your labor away for free if I just give you a shirt. So it's
Listen, Ryan,
I'm,
I can feel everybody clicking off. Goodbye. Sign off. Sign off. They keep talking about merch. Sign off.
yeah, they're like, oh fuck, this is whatever rabbit hole this is going down. Anyway, um, but yeah, I will. Thank you again so much for your
Oh,
time.
you're welcome. I was
Um,
so happy to be here. I hope I didn't sound too much like a prick or anything like that, but I really had a
never.
fun time. I always wonder, like, because people don't really talk to me that often, like they just don't. Because I just don't have a chance to do these types of things, and
Mhm.
but I wonder if when people listen to it, do they come away and they're like, "Wow, she's a real shit."
I I mean, I think that about every Void Signal episode about myself. So
Oh, you too.
I can't tell you. It has gotten better. That's true. See, this is again why you need a Discord server because you need somebody to just tell you you didn't sound like shit. You sounded great. Like because you can immediately go check in for some validation of people who are like, no, you sounded great. You did great, babe. It's an echo chamber that
Yeah,
you build for yourself. Really is.
yeah. No, honestly, you do have a good speaking voice. I'm not gonna lie, it's great.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So,
I
so I think it has a potential for a future. I think you should stick with it. I like it. It's a nice soothing voice. It'd be great in ASMR. Mostly mouth sounds.
mostly mouth sounds.
Mostly mouth sounds. That's it. I just want that's all we want.
Okay.
Void signal mouth sounds ASMR.
Okay. I don't want to do that because I would potentially have to edit it, and I don't want to. I don't want to do
Ew, my own mouth sounds.
my own mouth sounds disgusting. Void Signal intro and outro music courtesy Processor. Visit processor2.bandcamp.com for more Processor, and visit voidsignal.net to help support the creation of more Void Signal. Thank you.